First tonight on Our News Weekend, questions that need answers. Opposition leader Michael Pintard once again urging government to hold public inquiries. Plus, with the murder count now at 102, the National Security Minister is weighing in. He says one murder is one too many. And then November marks the beginning of Remembrance season, the British Legion of Bahamas branch honoring the Bahamian men and women who served in World Wars I and II. These stories and more as Our News Weekend starts now. This is Our News Weekend. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Megan Shepard. What is the government so afraid of? That question was posed by opposition leader Michael Pintard as the Davis administration has its hands full with a number of matters, including the Bahamas police force and immigration. Speaking to reporters outside of the House of Assembly this week, Pintard is once again calling on the Prime Minister to hold public inquiries into a number of matters. Our Joshua Williams reports.
Opposition leader Michael Pintard once again blasting government for what he calls a lack of transparency into a number of matters on the minds of Bahamians, with a number of probes into matters such as alleged corruption and the ruling in New York that saw over $1.6 billion in damages awarded to Bahamas developer Sakis Ismailian. Pintard says he believes government not seeing the need to hold public inquiries speaks to what they fear may come out of these investigations.
This government is fearful of public inquiries. There should be a public inquiry into the Bahama matter. There should be a public inquiry into what is happening with immigration, which is why we call for select committee on immigration. There should be a public inquiry into matters related to law enforcement and members of that are associated with the judiciary, just to make sure that we are able to clear the reputation of this country.
With mounting pressure from residents around the country for answers into these matters, Pintard has this question.
What is the government afraid of? Clearly, the public trust has been diminished in the political directorate. So what we ought to do is broaden the amount of voices that can weigh in on what we must do to fix the gaps, to fix any perceived corruption in our system. That requires independent adjudicators, more voices from civil society, the business community, and otherwise. The government is afraid to face that kind of scrutiny. Therefore, they'll continue to make decisions privately that we will only discover later was not in the best interest of the Bahamian people.
The opposition leader says not only is Mitchell's back and forth in the media unprofessional, but often contradicts the views of Prime Minister Davis, adding confusion to matters taxpayers are concerned about.
Good cop, bad cop. Both of them are twins on these issues. Both of them hold views that are not in the best interest of the development of certainly of Grand Bahama, and by extension, not in the best interest of the country. And so we try not to pay a tremendous amount of attention to Mitchell, except we know that he is the person who tells the secrets of the PLP. The PLP says they're interested in procurement. Mitchell say, hell no, we're not. The PLP claims that they are committed to freedom of information, and Mitchell says, please, we ain't on that run.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
Thanks so much, Josh. Well, days after that triple shooting in Fox Hill, National Security Minister Wayne Monroe is expressing his outrage at the recent surge in crime. Monroe reiterated that one homicide is too much, adding that there is no acceptable number of murders. The homicide count now stands at 102.
It's a record of the number of times a Bahamian generally has been unkind and inhuman to another Bahamian. Every murder is that. A Bahamian born and bred here, generally, from birth to about 18 to 25, deciding that he is going to take a life. And we gave birth to that person as a country.
Early this week, Police Commissioner Clayton Fernandez expressed concerns that there were 178 people on bail for murder, adding that this fact impacts the risk of other everyday Bahamians. Monroe says ultimately the decision is for the courts.
We have to be concerned about increasing the efficiency of the courts trying these persons charged with murder. And so that also is a system issue that has to be addressed. but the office of the DPP in the case that they object on that basis, and then they seek to appeal.
Meantime, a man is in hospital listed in serious condition after a stabbing incident in the early morning hours. Police say officers of the Northeastern Division responded to a disturbance near a nightclub on Rosedale Street after 2:30 a.m. Upon arrival, an unknown male was observed fleeing west along Rosedale Street. Police add that another male threw an object near the nightclub, while a third male was observed with an injury on the ground. The 36-year-old victim had multiple stab wounds and was transported to the hospital. During the search near the nightclub, officers discovered a firearm containing ammunition. As a result, the second male, aged 26, was arrested. The circumstances surrounding this incident are unclear, but police are actively investigating. National Insurance Board Chairman Philip McKinsey says NIB is not strapped for cash. This after government revealed the fund needed to be saved. Recently, the government has pledged to fix NIB by increasing contribution rates by 1.5% since July 1st. A controversial move to some that brought mixed reactions from the public and total opposition from the Free National Movement. Earlier this week, we spoke to the chairman on the status of the board's fund, who says they are instead presented with another challenge.
The issue that we face is sustainability. So we're looking short-term sustainability, 3 years down the road, and eventually, the long-term sustainability of the fund. So we don't have any cash-strapped issue. We are able to meet our obligations, and we have been meeting our obligations.
The National Insurance Board says they've also not forgotten their commitment to tracking down those employers who have not paid NIB contributions on behalf of their employees over the years. The NIB chairman says while they continue to go after those who've not done the right thing, they've also made it easier for those filing to keep track of those payments.
The obvious ones are taking persons to court, but we've also been reaching out to employers, trying to extend our coverage. We've introduced some technologies to help us to help make it easier for employers to pay contribution. So we have a C10 mobile app that allows people to make their contribution online.
Well, a North Abaco resident is speaking out tonight, expressing concern over a vexing issue that he says has been plaguing residents for more than a year. North Abaco native Daniel Curry telling our news that bushes along the side of the road are completely overgrown, pushing into the main road. Curry says he's speaking on behalf of residents there, appealing to the Ministry of Works to step in.
What we are appealing to the government for is that you can please, in North Abaco, send us a bush hog so we can have this problem addressed. The problem with that, the problem that we have is that if you are driving your vehicle and you have a flat tire or some kind of car issue, and you need to pull on the side of the road to have it addressed, there is no way possible to pull on the side of the road because here it is, the road warriors all out of control. And so we are asking and appealing to the government to please, if you can, hear the cry of the residents of North Abaco.
Curry says the issue isn't only contained in North Abaco, but throughout. He said he made attempts to address the matter, but got no response.
We would have spoken to Ministry of Works. They made us aware that New Providence is aware of the situation, and so they themselves are waiting for the equipment to address this problem.
When our news weekend comes back from the break, it's Remembrance season, and this year the British Legion Bahamas branch is highlighting the Bahamian men and women who served in the Royal Air Force Base. Plus, Breast Cancer Awareness Month may be over, but the awareness and support continues. We'll tell you how when our news weekend returns.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price, and you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
Each Remembrance season in recent years, the British Legion Bahamas branch has taken the opportunity to highlight particular groups of Bahamian veterans. Groups like the Royal Navy or the brave 11 women who volunteered for service. This year, the British Legion Bahamas branch highlights the Bahamian man who served in the Royal Air Force Base, which existed in Oaksfield, the Second World War. Our Marlena Leonard has more.
This year we are celebrating the late comrade Eugene Butler, the father of Apostle Paul Butler and Michael Butler. And then we have James Carey. I do remember Mr. Carey very well. He was my father's very good friend and also a former executive committee officer of the British Legion Bahamas branch. And these are his daughters, a representation. We have Patricia Collins, Mrs. Patricia Collins, and Mrs. Barbara Burrows.
Some of the children of those men gathering at the residence of British High Commissioner Thomas Hartley, who describes the significance of the season.
As the High Commissioner, we've always said that Remembrance Day is Remembrance Sunday is the most important day of the year for us, because everything that we do builds on the fact that we have the people before us have fought for our freedom, and then from there we've managed to construct and do everything else. But equally, there's so much to celebrate. There's heroism to celebrate, there are stories of triumph to celebrate, there are relationships and marriages to celebrate, and lots of that. So it's a very mixed emotion this year.
Patricia Collins, one of late Comrade Carey's daughters, says it's vital to keep telling the stories of the past.
If we don't know our history, then we are going to repeat the mistakes of the past.
True.
We are supposed to learn from our history and build and grow. And yes, how the characteristics of the men who served in the past, how do we transfer that to today's generation is a question for which there is no easy answer. But we have to begin by looking at young men who came out of school at 14, who did not have the opportunities of today's youth, but they were prepared to give their lives, if necessary, to protect the Bahamas, the Commonwealth, the world as they knew it.
And she says now, more than ever, we can learn from the bravery and willingness to serve one's community that came from these often unsung heroes.
So we need to look at their sacrifice as that of what they call a supreme sacrifice, and to see what are we doing now with all the gifts and opportunities that we now have. And so there's no easy answer. How do we get today's generation to build, to understand, to value? No, we can never forget them. They were prepared to give their very lives.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Marlena Leonard.
Thanks so much, Marlena. Well, in a meaningful gesture for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies Limited gave the gift of empowerment and comfort to Bahamian women impacted by breast cancer. The organization donated over 300 specially designed mastectomy bras to 3 organizations. During the handover at their store on 5th Terrace, retail associate and certified mastectomy bra fitter Rashay Roll says it reflects a commitment to empowering women following cancer treatment.
We just want to help in ensuring that they are confident and comfortable. Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies has been doing this for over 25 years. We just want to make sure that everyone knows that this is a welcoming company and they understand our vision of healthcare.
There to receive the gifts were representatives from the Sister Breast Cancer Support Group, Cancer Society of the Bahamas, and the Jenny Dean Caring and Sharing Cancer Support Group.
The donation for the bras today, what it's going to do is going to help some woman who's just been diagnosed with breast cancer, help her with her self-esteem.
We will send some of these to our branches in the Family Island
that will help those ladies there have a proper bra, because there aren't no facility there for them to purchase bras, and they would have to come to New Providence.
A donation like this helps us to help women rebuild that confidence. They can go out and wear their bras and look and feel really good about themselves despite what they've been through.
Well, it's a touchy topic, one women often find themselves trying to deny or hide: menopause. All women will experience it, most often in their 40s and 50s. But because we don't talk about it, many women miss the signs. Patrice Lockhart is a menopause health practitioner with Surviving and Thriving Through Menopause. We asked her for some of the symptoms women should take note of that could be signs of menopause.
A lot of times women begin to have joint pains that they didn't have before, and they don't even realize that that's directly related to menopause. Women deal with ringing in the ears. It's called tinnitus. That's also a menopausal symptom. Another menopausal symptom because menopause affects our brain, insomnia. The stem of a woman's brain is affected. That's why so many women cannot sleep. Women deal with besides the hot flashes and night sweats, dizziness and nausea and headaches.
The group offers many programs spanning nutrition, exercise, and mental health, hoping to provide an integrated holistic support system for women who may be struggling through the change. Health coach Renee Minus explains.
In lines, dealing with the structural part of it, we also help and touch a whole lot of the other symptoms that Patrice mentioned when it comes to the mindset. So you start to build confidence. You start to build self-esteem again. You start to feel so much better about yourself. So with the programs that we mentioned earlier, and even though we're giving you education, we're also giving you a solution along with that.
Well, still to come on Our News Weekend, celebrating strength while overcoming adversities. We'll tell you about a free event geared toward empowering women. But first,
a Bahamian is competing in Bermuda, and DeAndre gets 14 in a loss to Oklahoma. Our Sports Weekend is up next.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price, and you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
Good evening, I'm Sasha Lightborn in for Tage Adderley for our Sports Weekend. Well, a young Bahamian is participating in a very prestigious sailing event in Bermuda. His name, Finley McKinney Lambert, the current Bahamas Opti national champion. Let's check it out.
The best of the best and optimist sailors are currently in Bermuda sailing in the invitation-only Junior Gold Cup. The competitors include current Bahamas national champion Finley McKinney Lambert from Eleuthera, who is currently in 7 of 33 after 3 races. Lambert is ahead of Willis Gandy, the 2024 U.S. national champion. Lambert's final day of racing was today, where he aimed to climb higher in the rankings. The Renaissance Junior Gold Cup is an invitation-only event carefully curated by the regatta organizers. The selection process ensures that the most promising young sailors have the opportunity to compete on an international stage.
Meanwhile, DeAndre Ayton and his Portland Trail Blazers were in action last night in the NBA. Let's see how they did.
DeAndre Ayton had 14 points and 5 boards in a losing effort for the Portland Trail Blazers last night at the Moda Center. They lost 114-137 against the Oklahoma City Thunder in a fairly competitive game until the overtime mark. Ayton played 28 minutes in the game, but it wasn't enough to stop young OKC superstar Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who led all scorers with 30 points. He also picked up 7 rebounds and 6 assists. The Trailblazers are now 2-4 on the season. They play a game tonight against the Phoenix Suns at 10 p.m.
More Bahamians will be in action around the association tonight. We'll bring those scores to you tomorrow. Well, that'll do it for sports this evening. For our sports weekend, I'm Sasha Lightbourne in for Tage Adley.
Thanks so much, Sasha. Well, on the other side of this break, meteorologist Ian McKenzie joins us in the Weather Center with a look at temperatures around the archipelago. Stick with us.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price, and you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
Welcome back. Beautiful weather on the outside this afternoon, but as to what we can expect for the remainder of the weekend, well, meteorologist Ian McKenzie joins us now to tell us more.
Thanks, Megan, and welcome everyone. Currently outside our studios, we're under mostly clear skies with a temperature of 79. Winds are from the east-northeast at 10 miles per hour. Feels like temperature at 83. Across the country, we have 79s in Freeport, the capital, and in Governor's Harbor, Eleuthera, 80s in Nicholstown and Great Harbor Key, 81 in Allenstown, and 77 in Marsh Harbor. Continuing in the central Bahamas with those 80s in Camps Bay and in Coburn Towns and Salvador, a pair of 82s in Georgetown and Edmonds Key, and 81 in Arthurstown, Kidd Island. The southeast Bahamas, 82s in Duncantown, as well as Colonel Hill and in Matthewtown, a trio of 81s in Delectable Bay, Abrahams Bay, and Providenciales, Turks and Caicos Islands. First look now at our satellite and radar imagery. Broad high pressure dominating the northwest and central Bahamas. We have an area of low pressure, a trough just moving towards the west. This is triggering some unsettled weather across portions of the southeast Bahamas. The Hurricane Center is monitoring this area. It gives it about a 10% chance for development. Speaking about the Hurricane Center, they're looking at the southwestern Caribbean Sea, where they're giving this a high percent for possible development through early or mid next week rather, and our area in the southeast Bahamas monitoring it, giving it a low percent. However, whatever develops in this area, we still expect some shower activity, some rainfall across the southeast Bahamas, so you want to continue to monitor the progress of that system. Boating forecast, it's been a wash pretty much most of the week. Northwest Bahamas, small craft remain in port, swimmers on shore, winds northeast seas 15 to 25 north seas, 5 to 8 near shore up to 12 feet offshore, no swells. High tide at 9:09 p.m. tonight, low tide at 2:10 a.m. tomorrow morning, and we will fall back tomorrow 1 hour. Central and southeast Bahamas, small craft remain in port again, winds northeast to east, 20 to 25 north seas, 6 to 9 but up to 14 feet in those northeasterly swells. Looking at the week ahead in your extended forecast, nice weather pretty much through Monday. Some showers introduced to the forecast through about midweek, clearing out by the weekend. Highs in the mid-80s, lows in the mid to upper 70s. That's a rapid evening forecast. Make it a great, safe, fun night, everyone. And don't forget, change those clocks back 1 hour before you retire tonight.
Thanks so much for that reminder, Ian. Well, Beauty Beyond Feelings is an organization focused on curating a movement that drives women to be comfortable in their strengths and adversities. With more than a decade of community service, the group is hosting an all-white event on November 9th at the New Providence Community Center on Blake Road, and admission is free. CEO and founder Raquel Miller says her goal is to create a space for all women to become empowered.
A lot of persons who need events like these don't have the funding. Things come up unexpectedly. And so if I can be a blessing to others, if I can make something be a blessing to others, God will make it happen for me.
This year's theme, Birthing Set Time, was inspired by Raquel's personal journey.
I use my life as a testament because I am a vessel. I use my life as a testament for persons to see if I have overcome this and I've done the work, the same can apply to you. And so birthing, I birthed in the physical, but the seasons before birthing my son was uncomfortable. There are some times when I had complications. There are some times when I didn't feel like the pregnancy would come to full term, and that's us. When we're birthing anything, whether that's being an entrepreneur, taking the risk to come off of our job to do something that we're passionate about or something we believe that is our purpose, we get afraid. And so fear cripples us. And so because I've experienced those emotions, I'm able to inspire and uplift others through the life that I've lived.
And before we head out, we want to remind you that Our News and Easy Car Sales wants to put you in a new ride for the new year. An all-electric BYD 2024 SUV could be yours this Boxing Day. Be sure to head on over to ournews.bs to enter. There you'll find the Ride Easy with Our News banner. Answer the latest question correctly and you're automatically entered to win a new electric vehicle courtesy of Our News and Easy Car Sales. Good luck! And thank you so much for joining us for Our News Weekend. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Megan Shepherd. Have a safe and wonderful evening. Hey guys, Megan Shepherd here. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to click that subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. Just click right over here. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so you stay up to date with content like this from the team you already trust.